Hi, everybody. It's me. I'm MattHawes of the Happy Show and of Comics Unlimited, the comic book vendor that's located inside the Big E2 Superstore, the Big E2 Flea Market at 1540 Van Avenue in Evansville, Indiana. Open every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so anyway, I decided to make this video about a Beatles bootleg. And it's funny how I came across this. Okay, so many years ago, it's been over 10 years ago now, because I still had my brick and mortar shop for Comics Unlimited that was located on Diamond Avenue. And at the time that I was there was a place called the Book of Music Exchange, which was a local, regional, what do you call it, record store, videos, records, and such like that, and book exchange, as the name implies. And so what happened is I would check them out every once in a while, and they were right by my shop. So I just walk over there and look at their selection of records. And, I checked the Beatles section, being a Beatles fan, of course, too. And I came across this interesting thing. Now, I have since marked this here, so I'm explaining here, because it says Beatles bootleg in handwritten marker. I'm the one who wrote that because originally it didn't have anything signifying what it was, except for that it was known to be Beatles, and I think it was on the label or something, because it wasn't on here. Now, since then, I've even marked on the back. Now this text on the back I'll show you here in a minute, but it didn't have this text either. I added that too. It was just basically a blank album cover, except for it had adhesive here, which I imagine. This is dried adhesive, and I would imagine that's where any kind of picture or graphic or whatever that gave any kind of indication what this was originally was probably affixed right there, and it had been removed. So then, when I checked the album out, which was in pretty nice shape, the quality and the disc is in really nice shape, and both sides. But as you can see with these labels, they had side 1 and side 2 written in handwritten on there. Now, I did not add that. That was already on there. Somebody else had handwritten that. And there's no other indication here at all. No kind of information or copyright or anything. Copyright, to signify or tell you what this was. And so it was like, I think, $10, but I think they had a sale or going on or something. And so, oh, wait a minute, what was this? Okay, I can't, honestly don't remember now that I look at this. I haven't pulled this out for a while. This is, got the Lovin' Spoonful of Kama Sutra Records. And I don't remember if this originally came with it. I guess it did, because I don't know what I would have taken it off. I didn't have the Lovin' Spoonful albums. So it was, I guess it was in this, but obviously that's not the Beatles. Anyway, regardless, there was, like I said, nothing to kind of tell me what Beatles album or whatever this is, and it was vinyl. So, if it had been like a home tape cassette or something, I just figured, oh, it's somebody taped off the radio or what have you, or dubbed another, tape or off of the album. But since it was actually a vinyl album, that got me curious. So I thought, well, it's not exorbitant, the price. Again, I think it was like $10 what they had on it, but with the sale price, I think I paid between $3 to $5. I don't remember anymore. It was either 50% off or even better. I don't recall. I knew it was enough, just cheap enough, that I thought, I'm going to take a chance on this, because it really got me curious. And as long as it said Beatles, I thought, well, if it's anything at all to do with the Beatles, heck, me being a collector would be for fun. So this was really exciting to me, because I played it when I got back home, and I would play some of it for you now, but for 2 reasons I won't. One, I don't want to edit this. I'm pretty much just filming this straight through and going to put it up as is. That's me being lazy, but there you go. And number 2, it's because this is still songs that could get, copyright flag or something. There's I Forgot to Remember to Forget, and there was Twist and Shout, a live version, live and Roller of Beethoven. I'll go through this here in a second more. But what I'm saying is I start listening to it, and then I recognize, of course, the songs and such. And so, and then there's one particular one on side 2, which I wrote here, I forgot. It's actually side one. And the reason I know that is because, like I was getting ready to say, I listened to the tracks and wrote all these titles onto the internet to see what would come up in like a Google search. And in particular, this one here called "Have You Heard the Word?" Now, if you're not a Beatles fan, and even more so if you're not really familiar with a lot of Beatles lore, you may not understand what's the deal with that, because it's not really the Beatles. And I'll explain here in a minute. But I knew what that song was already before I saw this. And so that kind of, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I looked it up, and that's when I found out it is a Beatles album. It's the speaking of Have You Heard the Word, it's the Have You Heard the Word bootleg. It was put out, I'm trying to think what year it came out, in the 70s, but it's anyway. So the side one, which is actually side two, I'm going to read you first. I already told you a few of those songs. It has "I Forgot to Remember to Forget" from May '64 on the BBC. So that's a BBC, one of the performances they did on the BBC. "Twist and Shout Live" from October 24th, 1963 from Swedish Radio. "Roll Over Beethoven" October 24th, 1963. "Long Tall Sally" live, commercial release with overdubbed screaming. Then "Dizzy Miss Lizzy" May 26, 1965 BBC performance. And "Lucille," which is a Little Richard song, September 7th, 1963 from BBC. That's side one, which is actually side two. When I say actually side two, I'm going by, because the person who did the handwriting, side one, side two, on the label there, they apparently had that reversed. That's why it's, when I say actually side two, is because that person, they had it written wrong, which side was which, based off of the track listings. And all this information is what I got from when I did my Google search. It was from a label called CBM. It actually has a catalog number, WEC 3624. 1975 was the release date. I forgot about that. I jotted it down. Country of origin, apparently from England. Okay, so side two has "Have You Heard the Word?" And it's interesting that this was the "Have You Heard the Word" bootleg too, because "Have You Heard the Word," I'm going to go off memory here, but "Have You Heard the Word" was definitely not a Beatles song. There's not a Beatle performing on it. There is, however, a BG. Maurice Gibb was, the way I understand, producing these guys, who was going to come up with the album. I don't remember the name of the people. I don't think they ever had an actual charting hit, but he was producing these guys, and he apparently was, they were kind of drinking, and he was in the studio, and because he was also drunk, Maurice Gibb, they all decided just for fun to have a jam and just goof off. And so he was known, apparently, I guess, to do impersonations like John Lennon. I mean, he could do a passable John Lennon vocal. And so he sang intentionally, apparently, Beatlesque, as with a John Lennon-esque voice. And they performed this song called "Have You Heard the Word?" and it got recorded. And it eventually got released, an actual official release. I know there's 45 of it that's out there. And so it got released on that. And apparently sometime in the 80s, as I understand it, Yoko Ono was so convinced, I guess that was John Lennon's vocal, that she tried to get it copyright, patent, or trademark rather, on for her on her thing. You know what I mean? She tried to claim it, basically, but it wasn't John's song. And then, so that's only non-Beatles track that's on here, but it's a Beatles-esque track by a BG. And the band was released under the name The Fut. The Fut, as far as I know, there's no other Fut songs other than the B-side, which I think was maybe an instrumental or something of "Have You Heard the Word?" Again, it's been a while since I looked this up. If somebody who's a Beatle fanatic knows, I'm sure they'll mention in the comments. I forget what the flip side of that was. I don't actually have the Fut 45 that got put out. But anyway, the only way I have it on vinyl other than digital versions is here. Number two, You Really Got a Hold on Me. You really got a hold on. Anyway, who was it? Was that Smokey Robinson? I can't remember. Anyway, but the Beatles version here. The Long and Winding Road, a silly take of it. Maxwell's Silver Hammer, an outtake. A jazz piano song. I don't think that was given a name, but apparently done during one of the Beatles recording sessions. I'm going to mess this name up. Besame Mucho. I've known about that song forever, and I know I've listened to it, but I don't listen to it enough that I might be massacring the way that's pronounced. Octopus's Garden, a demo. I Mean Mine, a demo. And Don't Let Me Down, which apparently, since it's on a bootleg, was another outtake. Like I said, I haven't listened to this probably almost since I got the album. But and some of these songs, I'm sure, probably showed up on Anthology or what have you at some point. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that for anybody who's interested in Beatles stuff, and you might be familiar with this. You may own the bootleg with the actual artwork or whatever was put there. But I just thought that was funny because it was just I just by chance decided to buy it, because without any other markings other than again on the label, on the wrap or whatever that they had it in at the record store. That's the only reason I knew it had anything to do with the Beatles. I was just taking a leap of faith that it had anything at all that I would really want, and so it was really cool to come across that. Anyway, that's my video vlog about my Beatles bootleg. And I hope you enjoy, and I'll come up with some other video, whether it's one of my old music videos that I put together, or me doing another vlog, or another documentary perhaps at some point. Whatever the case, keep following the channel. I don't monetize my channel as of yet, and I haven't monetized any of my previous video, but I still would ask for people to like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and comment and stuff, just because it's fun to read your comments. I don't care. Again, I don't monetize the videos, at least at this point, so I don't care about getting comments, to improve the algorithm and all that. I just think they're fun to read. So if you want to leave comments, please do. And check out my other videos. And I guess that's it. And I'll see you at the E2 if you come into Evansville at the flea market. Otherwise, I'll see you later here on YouTube. Yay!